Ashley. How are you doing?
We're doing good.
I see all these familiar faces here. Let me put them in my gallery view. There we go. Hey, everyone. If you have a hand, just use it. Just wave. I like waves. I'll take a digital wave too. All right. So here now I am
Don't
going to blow up my
see,
screen.
yeah, I don't see anything in the chat yet, but if anyone wants to kick us off and raise your hand, oh, I see Linda has her hand up. Linda, I'm gonna unmute you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Linda.
Hi, I got a problem with my emails. When I first turned on my computer and signed in my account, my MSN account wouldn't sign in. So I had to switch over to Outlook. And then, I really don't want Outlook, but the only way I was gonna get in the computer is go to Outlook. And, now when I go on my phone, I can't sign into new accounts with my MSN email or my Gmail.
Okay. So when it comes down to you signing into your MSN, and you're saying you're going to Outlook.com now?
Yeah,
Okay, where did you go before when you used to sign in?
MSN.
So when you go to MSN and what happens when you go to MSN now? What does it tell you?
Well, I'm already signed in there now, but it's really bothering me because I can't get into new accounts. Like when I set up an app on my phone, it refuses my emails, both of them.
Okay, well, yeah, so it seems like you have two issues. One is that you used to sign into MSN to get your MSN email, but now it's taking you to Outlook.com, right?
Right.
And then when you go to Outlook.com, are you able to see your MSN emails there?
Yes, on the computer, yes. But when I do
Yes.
it on the phone, I have a different Outlook account, unfortunately.
No, and it's fine. But okay, so you can get your emails on the computer via Outlook.com, but on the phone, what type of phone do you have?
Android,
Okay.
Samsung S10e Galaxy.
Okay, and then so when you try to get your emails on your Samsung and try to set it up, and you go to set it up on your phones, forget about the Gmail for right now, but just the MSN, what is the issue that you're having there? It just does not allow you to populate your email. Does it tell you your password is wrong?
Emails in there. I get my emails in my MSN account.
Okay.
I'm not able to sign in, like, for instance, I was trying to get an app for Credit Karma. I was trying to sign in my email, my MSN email, and it wouldn't, it says it's not recognized.
So when you're trying to get that app on your Samsung Galaxy phone, you're going to the Google Play Store? Is that where you're going to get the app?
Well, I got it off of MSN email from Credit Karma.
Okay, but then when you go and try to, because the apps, normally if you go to the Play Store on your Samsung, on your Android, you can get the Credit Karma app or any other app that's out there on your phone. You don't have to go through MSN. You would just have to go through the Google Play Store. Do you see the Google Play Store on your Android?
Yeah, I do. The
Yeah,
only thing
try.
is- Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
The only
Yeah, I was gonna
thing-
say try. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna just say try getting the Credit Karma app from the Google Play Store, and it shouldn't even require you, unless something changed in the last couple of weeks since I've looked at it. It shouldn't even require you to sign in. You should just be able to get that free app and then sign into the Credit Karma app if you already have credentials or create an account.
But that's what I mean. It's hard to create an account if your email don't go in.
Yeah, so but your email with Credit Karma, if you can create an account, but you say you are getting your emails on your phone though, correct?
Right.
So if you're getting your emails on your phone on the Credit Karma app, if you're going to create a new account, if you've never had one with them before, you
I
would
had
then
one.
just,
I had one before with them a long time ago, um, as an, as an app, but it had problems with it, so I had to delete it.
okay, so what I would do is perhaps the password could be wrong. So if you signed in with your Credit Karma in the Credit Karma app, if you signed up before and had an account with your MSN email, I would then put in the MSN email and then do a forgot password. They will send you a link to reset your password to your email that you're able to access on your phone and your computer via Outlook.com. Click on that link, reset the password for Credit Karma, and then try to log into the Credit Karma app.
Okay, because like I said, they're refusing my emails and um, certain things I try to sign in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, so if you're not getting the emails in your regular inbox for your
Yeah.
MSN, but you're getting other emails, I would check.
Yeah,
I would check maybe your junk folder to see if things are going into your junk or your spam folder, because the email, when it's working, it works. If certain things aren't coming in, it's a possibility that it could get routed to something else, or another folder. So if your emails, if I were to send you an email right now and you receive it, but then Ashley sends you an email a minute later and you're not receiving it, I wouldn't say that your email is not working. I would just say that there's a filter, there's something that's routing certain emails to certain places. So I would certainly check your spam or your junk folder to see if things are being routed there.
well, I think you probably not understand what I mean. I'm getting my emails, but when I open up a new account somewhere, I am even on my, I don't know about my computer, because I haven't opened up new accounts on my computer, but it's just that I don't accept the email when I set up a new account.
So when you're setting up a new account, you're not receiving the emails to your
I'm not-
email.
No, I'm not able to put in my email. I'm not able to type in my email because it refuses it.
What does it say when you try to type in your email on a brand new account?
Not recognized.
What's not
Well,
recognized?
Not recognized.
Well, maybe if you're trying to sign in and you don't have an account with them, it's going to say it's not recognized. And if it's a brand new account, I would sign up so that you can establish an account with them.
Okay, I'll try that.
Does that? Yeah, give that a shot. Okay.
Why is Outlook on my, it's like piggybacking my MSN account almost.
Because Outlook and MSN and Live and Hotmail, they're all the same thing. So Microsoft owns MSN, they own live.com. So if you have an @Live account, if you have an @Outlook account, if you have an @Hotmail account, they're all the same umbrella and they're trying to route you to one spot to check your email. And it's probably Outlook.com. That's it.
Probably what?
Outlook.com is where everybody's checking their emails at now.
Right now?
Yes.
They don't use MSN anymore?
You still have an MSN, but they're probably, like you just said, you're logged into your account for MSN, but they're taking you to Outlook.com. Outlook.com is a way that you can see your MSN emails, or if someone had a Hotmail account, they'll see their Hotmail emails there. They're trying to route everybody to Outlook.com if you have a Microsoft type of account.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So give that a shot. I hope.
When I talked to Microsoft, they said that MSN and Outlook are two different things.
Uh, they are, but at the same time, they're owned by the same company. So MSN and Outlook are separate entities, but it's literally all Microsoft. Microsoft created both of those.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right, you're welcome.
All right, I see Jana's her hand up. Jana, if you want to unmute. 1 second. Or maybe she stepped away for a second. Doris, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. My
right.
question is about, I have a Chromebook.
It's okay for you to eat your candy, ain't it?
Oh, that's not me talking. Anyway, I have a Chromebook and the charger, the end of the charger that goes into to charge the battery broke off, and now it's not working. So is there any kind of an adapter that I can buy to go on the end to make it charge, or do I have to buy a whole new charger?
With that particular charger, I know that if the part is broken off and there's no place to even put another or treat it like it was an adapter, you're gonna have to get a new charger. Because the thing is that the other chargers that you can buy, they're gonna come, most of them, you can get a Chromebook charger for your particular one and get the exact one that you have, or you can buy one like a generic one from Amazon, for instance, or even a Best Buy, and they'll have different adapters that you can take off and put on, and it can work with various computers. So I would say maybe see if you can see which one costs less, because if they're gonna both do the same exact job, I would just go with the one that's gonna, cost less. And I have like 2 sets that I bought from Amazon, because when I'm working on various computers at the home or the office, sometimes people's chargers don't actually work, or I want to use my charger to rule out that it's their charger, so forth and so on. So I bought a couple, and I think what I paid for a charger was about $20. And I was able to have all different adapters for, like, I would say 90% of the laptops out there. So check and see if you can get the Chromebook charger again. But if it broke off and it's physically the end of it is broken off, you may not be able to put an adapter there, if that makes sense.
There's the little thing that's sticking on there, but when I put it down in the hole, it doesn't light up green or red. So that's why I say that it's broken. But so what did you tell me to ask for? A Chromebook?
I would do, get the model number of the Chromebook, the model you have. And I would just do, if you go to a Best Buy, if you order it online, just, type in or tell someone that you need a Chromebook power adapter or charger for that particular model, and then you will be able to get the exact thing that you need.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome. Good luck.
All right, and I
Thank
see
you.
Mariana, you have your hand up if you want to unmute.
Yeah, I want to know, have you dealt with the Linux program? Have you ever dealt with the Linux program? And I wanted to know what you thought of it.
Linux, like a computer?
The program, the one that substitutes, it's kind of a browser substitute for Windows, I think it is.
Okay, yeah. So Linux is an operating system. It's like you have Microsoft, the Windows. So Microsoft Windows, which is, XP 7, 8, 8.1, 10, and 11. That's that whole operating system that most people are using on a PC, we would call it. Then you have Mac, which is their own operating system, Mac OS. Linux is in the middle. I rarely get this question because it's probably about this many people in the world that uses Linux. Usually I found, and I have worked on a Linux computer, it was years ago. It's usually very, how could I say, they're nerds. Most people who have a Linux computer, they are bona fide nerds because they want a system that's a little bit different. So the guys that I work with, they're either hardcore gamers or they really like a different operating system. So I do, Linux is more close to Mac OS than it is to Windows. So I have worked on it. I don't recommend it for anybody. Only if you have Linux, you really know how to work on a computer. But I do think it's a very cool operating system.
Okay, I just wanted to know what you thought of it because I was getting into
Yeah.
some people who were interested in it, and they were talking about starting to download the system. And I have an extra hard drive that I was thinking about
Yeah.
downloading the system and see what it looks like and how it operates.
Yeah, it's different. You know, if you want to just do that just to take a look at it, it's not, it's kind of like, you know, if we say Windows is a stick shift and then, you know, Mac is an automatic
It's kind of
car,
combination.
I would say that it's probably a stick shift, but with the steering wheel on the left side. I mean, on the right side, like in the UK.
British.
So it's different, but it's cool. I like it. I just, when it comes down to, you know, working on a computer, I either choose one or the other, but I have worked with that system and it's very different.
No, okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, we have a few comments in the chat. Sylvia wrote, which of the many programs offered to prevent malware from infecting your computer do you recommend?
Okay, Sylvia. Yes, I do have an answer for you. Are you there?
Sylvia, we just asked you to unmute. She might have stepped away for a second.
Okay. I'll say just to answer when she comes back on, but like I had mentioned in our cybersecurity class, so when it comes down to malware protection and prevention, I like a program called ESET, E-S-E-T. There are various programs out there. There's the Norton, there's the McAfee, there's the Avast, and I mean, there's so many out there.
I know.
There's, I'm sorry?
I said, I know. That's
Oh,
why I'm
yes.
asking.
Okay, so you're there. Yeah, so it, you know, I like programs that are efficient, and they're actually not really going crazy marketing to you. Norton isn't that bad, but one of the things I don't like about Norton is they're constantly popping something up and
Yes.
constantly getting you to not only just turn something on, but when you turn that thing on, it may cost more money to turn that thing on. And they'll say, hey, you're not using this. You need to use this. And then you click on it, and it's like, this will be an extra $59 a year. It's
Oh,
like,
gee.
wait, what is that? So ESET is bare bones, like straight up. They're all about protection from malware. And if you didn't, ESET is around $49 a year. And I think they even have one for $59 a year. They also, you have Malwarebytes. So Malwarebytes is equivalent to that of an ESET in my eyes. One of the benefits of Malwarebytes is that you can be okay with the free version. You can sign up, get 14 days for free, and get like the top tier version. After that 14 days, if you don't pay them the money, they'll downgrade you to the regular Malwarebytes. The difference between the paid version and the version that they'll give you for free is that you have to manually do your scans. So I like Malwarebytes as well. ESET, you're kind of all in, and they do a lot more than just protect you from malware and viruses. So all viruses are a form of malware, but not all malware are
It's a
viruses.
viruses.
So malware is the top. It's like a sickness. And then you have Trojan like viruses, you can have adware, you can have all of these things underneath that umbrella. And so I think ESET does a really good job in saying, hey, Sylvia, this right here, we don't really like this. Or if you plug in a thumb drive, it'll say, should we scan this thumb drive? It's on that level.
I
Whereas
see.
Norton will do that. But again, I don't like the advertisement all the time.
Okay. Thank you, Julius. Now, again, could you spell that for me again? Is it E-S-E-T?
Yeah, ESET, ESET.com. You'll be able to
Okay.
find, when you do a little bit more research, they're not one of the ones that like go crazy with the marketing, like online. You probably never heard of it. But if you start to do your due diligence and look into it, and you'll see a lot of big companies are using them, how long they've been around, and the tests. Oh, thank you for putting that in there, Paige. Paige just put it in the chat for all of you that are looking for ESET.
Okay.
They do a really good job, and like you test it out to see if they can actually breach your computer. So they give you a bunch of warnings. It works on both Mac and PC. So definitely give it a shot if you're interested.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome.
All right, I see Pat Potter, you have your hand up if you want to unmute.
Oh,
Uh,
wait. Hey,
Yeah.
Pat.
So I just bought a new Canon wireless printer
Nice.
and I went to set it up. And I was researching Canon sites. And all of a sudden, something popped up saying, chat, you can tell me your problem. So I did. That site turned out to be a fraudulent site. I did not give any banking information. I stopped when they told me that my IP address was compromised and they were going to sell me a few things for $120. But we had chatted for a while. So I phoned Apple and they gave me a few ideas, like change your passwords. So I changed my passwords and I researched that Apple automatically has a fraud detector or malware detector as soon as you boot up your computer. But I'm just wondering if you have any other suggestions for me now that I've gone through this experience.
Yeah, so let me start out with just sharing my screen because this happens pretty frequently. When it comes down, I'm going to share my Google Chrome here. When it comes down to like doing a Google search here, I'm just going to type in Canon tech support. And this is what I do if I'm looking for a number really quick for someone and I'm like, hey, you want to call Canon up? Let's not even, I don't even want to go to their website and look for the number that I need to call. I just put in a Google search. And the reason why I do this is Google, they tweaked their algorithm a couple of years ago because there was a lot of these scams going on. You could type in, Apple tech support and you would get a bunch of companies advertising saying that they're Apple and they would not come up at the top. And so people more than like what you went through, it was happening even more at that point in time. And they would go to this fictitious website. They would say that they were Apple. They would say that they were Canon or whatever. And then next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole and you're on the phone with them thinking you're speaking to those people. Google stopped positioning tech type of companies, meaning printer support, any type of tech support. And they tweak their algorithm so that now when you go in and you go to Google and you type in Apple support, we just saw the Canon on there, you're going to get that first result, right? Or if you type in Apple, which what I do for people a lot, phone number, they're going to give you, Google's going to prioritize the real deal Holyfield website for that particular company. And this is Google. So when you go to Yahoo, just to show you all the difference, and I don't know if they tweak theirs, but we're going to find out right now. Apple number, right? So they actually did it as well. So when you go there, you should get the real deal Holyfield, and it's going to let you know as we look at this. You can't fake this. www.apple.com and then the little arrow contact. So they give you this information. I would recommend any of you all, if you're looking for Bank of America, let's look at that phone number, and I spelled that wrong on purpose. Boom. You still get that right there. So 1-800-432-1000. Any company you're looking for, just do a Google search. If you got a problem with Google, and some people do, they're like, hey, I don't want to use Google, I use Bing or I use Yahoo, that's fine. Just make sure wherever you're going that you're getting the right information. Look at the domain name, where you're going, Bank of America. You can go to the website and always go and find the contact us. They will give you that information. The other part to your question was, is there anything else you should do? Being that you were only on a chat with them and you did not, give any information, I would
Except
say
Julius,
to anyone, yes.
Except, just to interrupt for a moment, except
Yes.
that he did take over my computer remotely.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
What did he use? What program did he use to get into your computer? Was it like a login or AnyDesk?
I did see the name of it, but I don't recall right now.
Okay. Typically, when it comes down to them getting access to your computer, that's like they have to create a window to get in there, right? So they get the door. You give them the key to come in, but then as you're watching, you're like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're telling you everything that's wrong with your computer. So when you cut off the door, meaning like you close out your computer, you go and delete the application. That's the most important thing, so that they just can't get access to your computer whenever they want to. That's important, just to go and find that application and delete it. So if you can't remember it, just kind of go through your Finder, go through the applications and see what's not a standard app that Apple will give you. And you can always look at what the standard apps that comes with your Mac computer, and then kind of look at those side by side and say, okay, I don't know what this is, let me get it out of here. If it's something that you really need, you'll go and download it again. But I would get rid of that, because that's their way to get into your computer. And then once that's done, it's not about any malware protection, because most of these guys that's doing that type of work, they don't care about putting malware on your computer. They just want the $120. That's it. So they're on to the next pat that's going to allow them to get in there, and they're trying to get the $120 because at the end of the day, believe it or not, they got a quota to hit every single month, just like the real people that's doing legitimate work. They're like, hey, whoever hits this quota, whoever hits this many sales, if you want to call it that, that's who's going to get their name on the board and the company profile to say you did a great job. So I would just go and check for any applications on your computer like that.
Perfect, Julius. I mean, it was bizarre in the sense that I put in a website that Canon told me to with my new instruction booklet.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this thing popped up. Do you want to chat with us? And I said, oh, okay, I'll do that now. I'm ready for that. But when I got the real Canon people, they said, we deal with cameras, we deal with printers. We're not going to do something like try to clean up your IP address. So that was the big clue to me.
That's an important factor. And just to even hit the nail on the head a little bit harder, is just that's what we try to tell people, that Apple and Google and Facebook and Amazon, they will have to have a call center the size of the state of Texas if they were in the business to try to help you out with your computer problems. They don't care about us that much to offer that support, to just be there when we need them if they have a computer issue. So Canon, like you said, printers and cameras, they're not into computers. They don't create them. Dell and all of those other companies, you have to think they're not into it to try to help and say, hey, Apple's not monitoring your computer to say you got a virus on your computer. Give us a call. We'll help you out. They want to sell you a computer, sell you some iCloud space and some other gadgets, but that's it. Yeah.
I get it. Thank you very much, Julius.
All right. You're very welcome, Pat.
All right, Armand, you're next if you want to unmute. There we go.
Julius,
Armand.
when I go on some sites, I usually get asked the question, we use cookies. Do you accept? Should I accept them? What happens if I don't?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of here's a site. I think our site said if I accepted it or not. I think I already. Oh, let me try this. You all can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me go here to nerdalert.com, and this should pop up talking about cookies. Yeah. So it says this website uses cookies to improve your experience. We'll assume you're okay with this, but you can opt out if you wish. Some sites have different messaging. So if I reject this, which I will, no cookies. I can still get on the website and still use it. Now, if I go to, I was just on a call about this website. So here's another one, another message. We use cookies to enhance your browsing experience, serve personalized ads or content, and analyze our traffic. By clicking accept all, you consent to our use of cookies. Again, I can customize and say, you know what? I just want this, I want that, too much information, or you can reject all, you'll still be able to use the website. So to answer your question, yes, you can still use the website. What cookies are, they're essentially just going into your browser. And so like I'm using Google Chrome here. So the next time I go to that website, the company is just asking me for permission to put a cookie in my browser so that, you know, it could be for marketing purposes, it could be for traffic purposes, so that they could see when I go to their website. In addition to that, if I was a site that, you know, you could throw something in the shopping cart, you'll go there, throw some, you know, paper towel in your shopping cart, napkins, or whatever you're going to get. But when you come back later, even if you don't have an account with them, it'll still be in your shopping cart because it remembers the cookies in your browser. So when you specifically go back, they're not looking at you as Armand, they're looking at browser and a bunch of different characters that you're coming back to this website and now you need to do business with us. So cookies are not a bad thing. I know sometimes people give them a bad rep, but they are used for tracking purposes, but not to track your every online movement. But for instance, if you do put those paper towel in there and you are looking at a vacuum cleaner on another website, perhaps when you go to let's go to AOL.com, and you looked at that vacuum cleaner, you'll see some ads right there and be like, oh my God, that's that vacuum cleaner. Maybe I should buy it. And you think it's like serendipitous and it's just like this vacuum from heaven and the clouds part and you're like, I need to buy this vacuum because it's here. That's rare. But what this is here is an ad. So another company could be advertising that, or that same company that you went to. And then when you go on the internet elsewhere, wherever there is an ad space, they'll pop up there. And that's what cookies, that's another reason why you would see some cookies. So they're not bad things, but you can always say no if you don't want a cookie to track you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
All right, and then I see End's iPad. I think that's Norma. If you want to unmute. She's still on.
Yes.
There you go.
Going back to Mong where you said ESET, do you download it or do you buy it from a computer store and install?
Oh no, great question. You would go to eset.com, Norma, and then once you go to eset.com, then it'll show you some different, depending upon your computer, it'll show you some different options and you choose that option, you buy it, and then you would actually download it from them. Once you have the license, they'll give you a license code and they'll email it to you, and then you'll download the program from them and get it set up. It's probably maybe about a 10-15 minute process of like, going to buy it, downloading it, depending upon your internet speed, and then getting it installed and getting everything set up.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, and then Terry wrote in the chat, is marking junk mail spam as dangerous as unsubscribe to stop it?
I would say, so marking something that is junk or spam as spam or junk, I think is better than unsubscribing if it is junk or spam. I do not recommend ever unsubscribing from a junk email or spam email. And what I mean by that is not Bed Bath & Beyond. If you signed up for them or bought something from them before, yes, they could be hitting you with a bunch of emails, but if it's a legitimate email from Bed Bath & Beyond, I don't define that as junk or spam, right? That is a legitimate email that you may say is just bothering the heck out of you, but there's a difference between junk and spam. Junk and spam to me is the Viagra emails that you're getting that I know you didn't sign up for. We all get them. But if you hit unsubscribe from that I would have a problem with. I would say never do anything like that. I would just mark it as junk or mark it as spam or delete it from either of those, or just delete it out the gate. But a legitimate email coming from a company that you know of and you signed up with before, or you subscribe to, whatever that company is, Macy's, and they're just sending you a bunch of emails, you can unsubscribe from that, or you can mark that as junk or spam, and then that should get routed to that particular box.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Right, and then Sharon wrote in, my iPad takes almost 24 hours to fully charge. Why does it take so long?
Oh, hey, Sharon, you there?
Sharon, if you want to.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so may I ask, how old is your iPad?
Oh, several years old.
Okay, and then the second question would be, are you using the original charger that came with your iPad?
Probably not.
All
I
right,
don't,
so
same one that I use for my phone, so I don't.
okay, so that's what I figured. So I figured not that about the age, but more about the type of charger. So if you have a little small box and then you have the cord going into it, it was that charger was made for an iPhone. The iPad is bigger, so it shouldn't even take 24 hours to charge. But sometimes third-party chargers, if it's not the original Apple charger, it can take longer. Or if it's a charger that's meant for a smaller device, it can take longer, but I've never seen it take 24 hours to charge. Usually it'll take a couple of hours more, but if you're using it while it's charging, then that would make sense why it can actually take 24 hours. I would make sure that everything is cut off while you're charging it, and to charge the bigger charger, the one that came with that iPad, because it'll charge it up fast.
Yeah, I don't even know where that one is.
Or, you can always get one, from Amazon or the Apple store. I usually recommend with any device, try to get the original one or from the company. I've seen people where I'm working on their device and their device is working kind of funky. And if it was an iPhone or iPad, and then I plug in my charger and it works, they're like, oh my God, it wasn't doing that before. Sometimes I've seen third-party chargers short out a device. So you want to be just like aware of that as well.
Okay, it's the original from the iPhone, but
Okay, not for the iPad.
right.
If you can find at least the block for the iPad, maybe it's around the house somewhere, and you plug it in, that should go a little faster. But even then, 24 hours to get to 100%. That even with the little guy, that should go faster than that.
Mm, okay, thank you. I just
All right,
want
you're
to add
welcome.
something to the woman that had the scam, the pop-up
Yes.
thing. Well, I just recently got scammed. I thought I was calling Delta Airlines, and I wound up with a third-party travel agency that
Yeah.
ripped me off totally. I mean, I was very stupid to give them information, and but you have to be careful even on the telephone.
Yeah. Did you pay for it by whatever you gave them? Did you
Credit card, yeah. I
credit-
called my credit card company. It's a whole big mess, and they took miles from me, and
Oh
I've
wow.
been on the phone for like 5 days trying to work everything out.
Oh my God, that sucks. Usually,
Yeah.
I mean, I usually tell people like if you pay for it by credit card, in most cases, the credit card companies will 100% side with you because they know that the other side is illegitimate. And I've seen they give the money back immediately and there's no questions. They're like, oh, it was a fraudulent company, a scam. They don't even question it. And the next thing you know, you have your money back within a couple of days. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Got to be careful
Uh-huh.
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, because it's literally every company you call. That's why I tell everyone, look at that URL that you're clicking on, look at the email, make sure it's legit. If you're not sure, throw everything away, Google the number, call up Delta yourself, and just that's what they've done because they're aware of all of the scamming that's happening. So they're trying to prioritize the company's information at the very top. But all you have to do is be very specific about what you want. You know, Apple corporate email address, Comcast corporate phone number. Like search for those things as you're thinking of in your head, and not just, you know, the how to contact Apple. Like be very specific as to what you want. And Google, I know that they've optimized that so that you should get exactly what you're looking for.
Right. Well, thank you for your help.
All right, you're welcome, and good luck with your situation.
Thank you.
All right, Pam wrote in here. I have several questions regarding my iPhone SE. First, it has become increasingly harder to get it to charge. She has to pull and slightly twist a charging cord until it shows her that it's charging. And then it stays in place and it usually charges the phone overnight. But on occasion, it stops charging while she's asleep. And so she starts the day without a charged phone. I went to the phone store once before, but it was willing to charge when they plugged it in, and they did not think they had a problem. I just spent several days in classes and wound up to 20% and it's still showing red. I did finally get it to charge. One of the other people in class said her husband had the same problem. He got a new phone and then was really upset when he found out that someone he knows had the same problem caused by lint getting into the phone. The man got some kind of putty push into that opening and pulled it out. Is it real? And where can I get the putty or whatever?
Okay, yes. So yeah, if that's a thing with the SE, that's the first time I'm hearing about it. And it's not to say that what you're saying is not true, because that could be a real thing. If lint is getting in the bottom of that, you know, charging piece and it's actually not charging, you know, one, you could do the old school, just how we used to blow on the Nintendo cartridges, just like that. And then if that doesn't do it, I don't know any specific putty. I do know of the putty because I've seen it online on Amazon, and you can actually put, you know, let's call it putty, and it'll actually just kind of take out anything with it. Or if you're close to an Apple store, I would say take it to those guys and allow them to kind of troubleshoot it, because if they're having an issue with their phone and it's something that is isolated to that particular iPhone SE, I would let them handle it and maybe even give you a new phone. And then you can, you know, remedy the issue that way. So you don't have to buy the putty, and they shouldn't charge you anything for that. Are you there? Okay.
Oh, she got it. Okay. And then her
Oh, wait,
second,
I could, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just hadn't unmuted. Yeah, but it lives in my pocket. So the lint made sense.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, but is this safe? And then, I don't want to walk into Walmart and say, okay, what kind of putty do I poke in my iPhone?
Just don't let them give you cement though, okay? You want to get
Okay.
putty.
Right.
No, but if you're close to the Apple store, I mean, before you try that, because look, I get it. If you keep it in your pocket, Apple can't say, hey, if you have more lint than the next person in your pocket or whatever the case may be, it could happen. But if they're able, like, depending upon how deep it went in there and wherever it's hitting, that could affect it. So if you were to try the putty, if that is the best possible solution, like as far as maybe distance from the Apple store, give it a shot. I'm gonna see. Let me just check something out. Yeah, some people have mentioned like a toothpick. And there is also, okay, so here's something that I found. Let me just share this with you. All right. So here's something that I found online, and this is when you were thinking of, saying putty, I was thinking something like this. Like there's these different gels out there, and I've seen these where people would clean their keyboards, their AirPods or earbuds. There's different ones out there. So this one doesn't seem like a bad deal here either. Something like this for $7.99 and you get all of this stuff with it. That's not bad. So yeah, I'll put this link. Oh, here's another one. Look at this. There's some putty.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, maybe give one of these things a shot. And then if this doesn't work and you're still having the same issue, then definitely take it to the Apple store. Those guys either fix it or, give you a new device.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know Pam also had another question about wireless charging. Maybe that would help, but a Walmart employee told her that her phone is too old for wireless charging. But there are a couple apps that would supposedly let her do wireless charging. Is this something that you would recommend?
Wireless charging, you're saying there's some apps that'll allow you to wireless charge your phone?
That's what I looked at in the App Store. And supposedly there were a couple that you could download, and I thought, okay, I don't know. I'll ask. Seems like they would put it in an update if it were going to be available as opposed to an app. But
yeah, so the way I understand it, and that's why I'm kind of like my face is screwed up. I'm trying to figure out this whole wireless charging thing. I remember when it first came out, I think Androids came out with it first. And when I saw it, I'm like, wow, that's a cool thing. And it's called like QI, this like Q wireless charging, and the Apple came out with it. But I have a wireless 8. This is the 8 Plus, and this was the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first phone that could wirelessly charge. But I remember my other 7 was not able to. So I would have to give you an answer and do some more research. I don't know how an app can force this device to wirelessly charge. That it's probably possible. I don't know, but I just can't wrap my head around it because I know how the technology works, but I don't know if somebody created something that will force it to wirelessly charge. So I'll have to get back to you on that, and I'll take a note of that.
okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, and then I see Marion wrote in, where I'm living, there's a router with a different network name than the Wi-Fi associated with the work that I'm doing. Marion, if you want to unmute, maybe you could ask Julius. There you go.
Hi, Julius.
Hello. Hey, Mary.
Yes, I was just wondering, by the network name and the password being different, and I think the Wi-Fi that I use is used by, I know it's used by me, but I'm assuming it's used by the other two people in the building. So would that make a difference as far as my work going in, you know, the correct way? Or would it interfere in any way?
No, so let me get this straight. So where you currently live, they have a general Wi-Fi network that people like your neighbors can connect to too?
No.
So
I
you
have
your-
my own personal Wi-Fi.
okay. But then you're saying that there's two other people that are on your personal Wi-Fi?
Right.
And those people live in your home with
Yes.
you?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you're asking, like, so you have that one network, and then whatever you're doing on your devices, that's, you know, on your devices. Now, being that those other two people on your network, if you're asking if they can kind of see into your devices, that's what you're asking?
Right.
Well, it's a possibility if they have the skill set to do so and your devices are not protected. So there's a way where usually you have to enable that feature.
So in other words, excuse me for interrupting, as long as the work that's being done by that one Wi-Fi we're sharing, nothing else would be important, right? That
No,
I
yeah,
should consider.
exactly. Yeah, so if you like in my home, I have let's say one network that's shared throughout. So if friends or family come in, they're like, "Hey, what's the Wi-Fi?" I give them the name, and then I give them they get the name, and then they see it. They hit connect. Now they need a password. What's the password? I then give them the password. Now they're connected.
Right.
So they can essentially do a lot of other things with my devices. Like a guy who was a handyman, he's like, I would see one of your speakers and I can like literally push some of my music to your speakers. And I ended up booting them off, not that it could do any harm, but that's one of the things when you let somebody on your network, if there are other devices on your network, other people can see the other devices on your network. And that's not harmful, but the people that come in here, even that handyman, I trust these people not to do anything crazy, but should they want to get a little crazy, I still have other things in my house that are protected. So you just can't access certain things, if that makes sense.
So does it work? Does it work like, say you go to a hospital and you got your iPhone and then you want to be able to do your emails and, you know, while you're waiting? So once I leave, you know, I'm offline until I get back home.
Yeah.
And then I pick up my Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So that would work the same way when someone comes into where you're living.
Exactly.
Okay.
Once they're gone, and you would still need a special skill set in order to infiltrate, even while you're on that network, to be able to access other devices and get into those devices, right? So it's not to say that it can't be done, but once you're on the same network, you're kind of like you're sharing that network, and it's a huge land and all these devices are connected. So one could gain access to another device and see what's in that device. But most likely, most people don't even know how to do any of that type of stuff. And when you're on a network at the hospital or at the airport or something like that, like, yes, people could still probably access your devices. They would have to have a special set of skills to do so. But usually the network administrator kind of compartmentalize and see the traffic and try to stop all of that. So they create a secure network so that no one can just bounce to device unless, you know, they have access. But it's always, when you're on a public network, I would say always be wary of that. When you go on the website, if you go to your bank website, your bank has its own protection itself to protect you from these intruders. But again, I don't knock anything. Anything is possible if you're around the right person or the wrong person, I should say.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then John wrote, when I switched to a Mac, I was told that I didn't need any additional antivirus or malware software. Do you agree, and explain why?
So John, yeah, that is a blanket statement. It's very general. I don't agree with that statement. I have went and I've came across many Mac computers that have viruses and malware on them. They certainly can get it. It's not often, but it can happen. I usually judge, like when I'm working with someone that I've worked with for years, or even someone that I meet tomorrow and they tell me they got a new Mac and they ask me if they need virus protection. I'm all about cybersecurity, and I'm like, hey, yeah, you know, virus protection, malware protection is good for any computer. And they would then follow up with another question and say, but do I need it? And I'm like, well, need is a strong word. That's even on a PC. It depends on how you use your computer, how you drive your car. If you're the guy that does drag racing in your car, like, yeah, I think everybody needs a seatbelt. But if you need like a seatbelt and a helmet, that's what virus protection for me is. So when I get on the computer, I know what I'm doing and I feel protected. If something pops up on my computer, even when I click on things on purpose for different purposes, like just to study certain things, I will click on a bogus email and the link to step on that landmine to see what happens, right? But I'm going to contain it in my environment, so I'm not really worried about it on my Mac. Sometimes you can go on a gaming website and be playing Mahjong, or you could be playing poker, and something bogus could pop up on your computer. And then next thing you know, you can get viruses or, you know, or malware. So I wouldn't say that Mac cannot get viruses or malware and you don't need it. It depends on how you drive it. But if you just have protection on your Mac and you never need it, it's better to have it and not need it than to not have it and need it.
Could I just have you amplify? Is there some basic level of virus protection on the Mac operating system, or is just nothing and it's just harder to hack?
Yeah, there's no virus protection on your Mac. You can actually, the only thing that you have, the reason why he's probably saying that is, let me actually share this with you, privacy and security. Here, let me share this with you. This is my Mac. I'm in my system settings. So this has changed a lot over time. So if yours doesn't look like this, you could still go and look for what I'm showing you. So one of the things that you have here is a firewall. It just secures your data by on your disk by, you know, encrypting its contents. So that firewall and the firewall, these are just things that, you know, they just come directly on the Mac. And that's even on Windows computers as well. One of the things that why a lot of people say that you may not need it on these devices is that when it comes down to security, when I download like a TeamViewer, a legitimate app, sometimes when that app comes on my computer, I have to give it authorization because it didn't come from the App Store. I downloaded it directly from the website. So then I have to go and authenticate it, put in my username, my password for the computer, and say I'm okay with that. So whenever you download something on this computer and you install it, Apple makes you go through the process of verifying that you understand what you're doing by putting in your password. A lot of people just go through the motions, continue, install, and don't read the fine print. And then you can get a bogus app on your computer. On PCs, what I find is that there are things that can actually download in the background without you having to authenticate it. So yes, on an Apple computer, a lot of things will kind of be a little bit harder for you to get on your computer if you don't authorize it. So but it doesn't come with any type of virus or malware protection already on there.
Okay, so this is kind of like if I compare this to McAfee or Norton, you're talking about something of a lower level of protection.
I wouldn't compare it at all. That McAfee or Norton, their virus and malware protection, as well as other things. This is encrypting your disk. So if you, what this says, you will need a login password or recovery key to access your data. If you lost this computer and you needed to get access and you lock it down, it's encrypted, all your data. They're saying no one can get that information. That's not saying that I can go to a link right now and having this turned on, I can go and get a link to a virus and download that virus on my computer and I will be infected. So this does not stop a virus from not coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, virus and malware protection is very different. Those things, this is just the security of your computer, and just saying, if you were to download something, if I were to download something from TeamViewer or whatever, they're going to say, give this app authorization to make changes to your computer. Usually when you download any app on any Apple device and they need your location, they need anything other than, like, you have to give them something, Apple will have you authenticate by putting in your password or agreeing to it and putting in your password. But that's not protecting you against viruses or malware.
Well, yeah, when I downloaded TurboTax this year on the Mac, I had to put in the computer password so that it would do it. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the level of protection I had at that point, right?
Exactly. And that's going to be for any application. They want you to say, hey, this is me. I'm the homeowner here. I'm allowing this guy to come into my house. And they're like, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Put in your password to ensure that you're sure. Yep. And then you allow it to download, so that if anything gets on there and it's iffy, that's why these spammers, these hacker or scammers, they can't just get into your computer. They told Pat that they were from Canon, and they had her download an app that she had to authenticate, put in her password, and it was a legitimate app, but that legitimate app allowed these illegitimate people to get into her computer. Same thing with these malicious websites or any type of virus. They're going to say, Apple's going to say, hey, do you know what ABC123 is? If you do, and you want to install it, go through these motions and authenticate it and give us your password so that you know what you're doing. And most people, again, they won't read it. So it's not virus protection. It's just a fail safe to say, just read what you're doing and ensure that you're okay in what's happening right now. That's all.
When I had Norton or McAfee on the PC that I paid for, and I was dealing with websites, I know that there was a list of viruses and what have you that were being referenced so that they wouldn't come across from the website. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's what those guys do. They're always scanning the latest viruses and understanding them so that they can protect you against them. So if it's a big bad guy in the neighborhood, they're like, all right, let's get his description. So now we can look out for him. That's what those virus and malware programs are doing. They're constantly scanning the latest viruses and malware so that they can then say, oh, there's a new guy on the block and he's big, bad, and ugly. We need to protect ourselves against this new type of virus. It's a new Trojan. It's this new version of malware. And that's what those programs are doing. Your Apple computer is not doing that whatsoever.
Yeah, so now when I'm on these websites with the Mac, I don't have that protection.
If
Do
you
I-
don't have a virus or malware protection, no, not at all.
Do I get it from MSN, which has my, my web address, my email and that? Do I get that from there?
I mean, normally, I don't know if they offer you like a free virus protection, but I would go to a company like that. Like if you want to go with Norton, like we were talking about ESET, that's the one I recommend.
I got you.
Go,
Okay.
you can search for one of these guys, but they're not, if it's not installed on your computer is not being protected. That's the case.
But how about like from Verizon, where I get my, that's my internet provider? Do they have
They
a?
could. Yeah, they could provide you with a service like that. That's within the service that you're paying for. They can provide you with like McAfee or Norton at no extra cost. I know Comcast does it. They give people access to like McAfee or Norton, whichever one of those, where it's included with some of their service. At least they used to. So I know a lot of people will sign up for it and like, oh yeah, this is paid for by my internet service provider. So I would check with Verizon to see if they offer one. And if not, you can always go and get it on your own.
Great, thank you, Julius.
All right, you're welcome, John.
All right, I know it's 5. We have a couple hands up and then a few more questions in the chat. So Barbara, Frida, and Faye, and then we'll continue with some in the chat. But Barbara, if you want to unmute.
Okay. The question that I had, it sounds silly. I want to know, how do I change my picture? And is that too simple right now for this?
For Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Basically what you could do, and we're going to be going over Zoom our next call. So let's see.
Well, I can wait until then. If you like, when are you going to do the Zoom again?
The Zoom call is on Thursday, March 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay, well, I can wait rather than to mess up the class, okay?
All right, now I'll be able to show you how to edit your profile picture, and we'll get it updated. Just get a nice selfie together so you could do it that day, and we'll get it added, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, Frida, if you want to unmute.
Hi, Julius.
Frida.
It's a quick one.
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks, my printer has been acting up. I think she has PMS because every time I want to print, my laptop works.
Mhm.
But when I'm gonna go print it, it won't print. So a little box comes out and says something about the network. But I'm like, how the network, when I have the internet on the laptop, on the phone? So I just need to know, do I unplug the printer every time this happens, or the router?
So does it print sometimes and not others, or it doesn't print at all right now?
Sometimes. Like yesterday, I needed something like literally urgent, and it would not print. And I didn't want to get a headache, so I just turned it off.
Okay. So when you look at it, I would say, now, do you only have one wireless network in your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, a lot of printers will have an indication to ensure that it's printing, that it's connected to the network. And there's usually like a blue light, and that should be solid. If that's solid, I would say, okay, you could confirm that if both of the devices are on the same network, you should be able to print. If that's going in and out and stopping and not working, what could be happening? I would make sure that, sometimes, and I've seen this happen where, like, who do you have for your internet? For your cable?
Optimum.
Optimum. So usually it's just once you connect it, the printer's not that smart. It connects to the Wi-Fi and it's just supposed to sit there. If for whatever reason it's not working, you can try to unplug the printer for about 20, 30 seconds, plug it back in, and then give it a shot to see if it prints. If not, you can also clean the queue on your computer to make sure nothing is in there. You can look at the print
Oh,
queue
I know it. Okay, yeah.
and see if there's anything stuck in there, and then just clean that out and then try to print again, and hopefully that should work. If you only have one network in your house, more than likely that should be a good fix, because the printer just can't work and not work. There's something going on where it's like not really communicating with that printer.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, I'll try that. And then when we meet again, I'll let you know.
All right, that sounds good. And if not, you can always smack it up against the head too. I've heard that worked as well.
I know, but my son bought it for me, so I don't want to do that.
All right, that's cool. Now, maybe next time.
Okay.
All right. See you later.
Faye, you're up next.
Oh, hi, Julius. I've been using DuckDuckGo, to search for on the web. Is that
Sure.
recommended? DuckDuckGo.
Yeah. So DuckDuckGo is a fairly new search engine in the sense that it hasn't been around as long as Google and the Yahoos and the Bings. But it's their whole marketing piece is that they don't track you. They don't search you. They're not
Right.
selling things. Supposedly it's more private. Who knows? Everybody says they're private and they're all about your protection and your security and your privacy. But one of these things I do find is like a lot of people who actually, one of my colleagues I work with, he's a big fan of DuckDuckGo and he likes it a lot. So any search engine that you use, I would say Google they're the biggest search engine, aside, the Yahoo and the Bings. But DuckDuckGo is gaining a lot of traction out there. So I do think it's a good search engine. I've used it myself and they offer it. It's a legitimate company. So I don't see any problem with using it at all.
Yeah, another thing, I know time is going. I think we spoke a couple of times about my phone, but I guess this is not the appropriate time to ask that question because I'm trying to delete numbers from my phone, my iPhone. And it still comes up when I, say save, for example, I'm deleting one and I'm putting two and I only need two. The one still remains. I don't know if this is the appropriate time for that, but maybe another.
Yeah, I can answer really quick. So you said on your iPhone, right?
Yeah, my Android.
Yeah, so on your Android. So if you are deleting contacts on your Android, I do know that there is sometimes when you delete a contact on an Android, I just worked with an issue like this a couple of months ago. It doesn't delete because you have to go in the contact. Sometimes it's saved in 2 or maybe 3 places.
Right.
And so when you go to that contact, if you hit edit and go all the way to the bottom or even before edit to delete it, you'll see it can tell you that it's saved in 2 different places. And this phone that I was looking at, she was having the same exact issue. And once we went in there, we found that it was in her Google contacts and it was also on the phone. So every time she would delete it, she's like, look, it's still here. And I'm like, look, we have to choose which bucket is going to save the contacts. So we switched her all over to Google contacts so that can house her contacts. And then she had to go through, she had a lot of homework to do to go and remove it from a second account because she had that contact saved in multiple accounts, meaning a Google account, she had it on the phone, and then there was another account that she had it in. So she had 3 contacts, even though it looked like one, but it was 3 contacts, the same contact, and she had to delete it from 2 of those 3. And then now when she deleted it on one, it'll delete everywhere. Or
so how do I do that now? Because do I go to contact, edit, and is there a box where I can see how many people are in that
Yeah, it should be at the, when you go into that particular contact and you
Right.
scroll all the way to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it'll show you right then and there if it's saving 2 different accounts, or you would have to hit edit first, I think,
Yeah.
and then you can see which accounts it's saved in. Then you would
Mhm.
have to remove it from one account. But before you just do that, you need to make sure
Right.
which account, which contact has the most information and the most accurate information.
Right.
Because in contacts, one had the address, the phone
Mhm.
number, and the email. The other one just had the birthday.
Right.
And that's what I say. You need to go through these first
Wow.
to make sure and keep the one that has all the information.
And you know, I have 900 contacts, so that's going to be a big homework for me. Thanks, Julius.
All right, you're welcome. All right, take care.
Uh-huh.
Ali wrote, while I know why one shouldn't unsubscribe spam, can you please state why one should not do so?
So yes, if you're gonna unsubscribe from spam, but again, I'm gonna give a definition of how I see spam. Spam is not your typical emails that you have subscribed to in the past. For example, a Bed Bath & Beyond, a Macy's, an Apple. Those are legitimate companies that you may have subscribed to when you purchase something from them, right? So although you can see that as spam, I'm thinking of the definition of spam as the bogus emails that say that they are Best Buy, or the Viagra emails. That's spam to me. That's garbage. So if you try to unsubscribe from an illegitimate company and it's not a real email, you're basically just telling that illegitimate company that you're a live fish, and you'll never unsubscribe. They're just gonna pop you into another category and say, hey, this person right here clicks, and share that email with other bogus companies, and you're gonna get hit with even more emails. So that's why I say never unsubscribe from a bogus, spam, not real email. Does that make sense? Cool.
Ali, are you there?
I am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking my question, Ashley and Julius, for sure. I know that, however, a lot of people don't, and they think it's, you know, they really want to honor my wishes and unsubscribe me. When in fact, you're basically indicating, you're flagging yourself by saying, hey, I'm a gopher, hit me up with more opportunities to be gotten by, you know? So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's why I say never even, I just either move it to spam or trash or junk, or I just ignore it altogether.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly. Thank you. Or delete, because a lot of times
Yeah.
I'll just do a mass deletion of my spam after I've given it a cursory glance and seen, oh, okay, well, how did that get in my spam? Then I'll redirect that to my inbox or what have you, or a folder. However, if too much time has gone by and I don't have time and I just want to clean things up, I'll just do, you know, select
Yes.
all, delete.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a good move.
Thank you, Julius. Thanks, Ashley.
No
Thank you.
problem. And then Dorothy asked, how dangerous is it to charge a phone after it hits 100%?
I wouldn't use the word dangerous, Dorothy Lee. I would say like, because it's not that it's gonna explode on you or anything. I would say, you know, if your phone is, let's say you go to bed at, you know, whatever time, and then after like 2 hours, your phone hits that 100%, but you're still sleeping. You don't have to like set an alarm and wake up in the middle of the night to take it off the charger. Over time, your battery will get depleted. So when you first get it, the battery itself is going to be 100%. Over time of all the different charges, it will go lower, and maybe your 100% is now 87%. But that's still the top ceiling that you can hit. The more you leave it charged after 100% and you take it off, you leave it on the charger, let's say 3 hours every single night after it hits 100%, it's going to start to deplete the battery a little bit faster. So that's just what happens, but it's going to happen to your device no matter what. There are times when I got to go to bed and I'm like, I'm not gonna wake up in the middle of the night. I just throw this puppy right on the charger, and I know it hits 100% after like an hour or two, and it is what it is. I try not to do that often, and I try to keep my phone charged in a day, and so that I don't do that. But it's not dangerous, but at some point in time, you will, if you do that all the time with any device. I've seen people where they had their phone in a Mophie and it's just charging all year around, right? And then next thing you know, they take it out the case and the iPhone is fat. And they're like, what happened? I'm like, your battery bursted inside your device. So it was on a charger so much. I've seen this on computers and everything. So that right there is dangerous because you don't know if something can leak on you or anything like that. So yeah, it's not too crazy if you do it every once in a while, but I wouldn't get in the habit of just leaving your phone on the charger all day, or a computer or any device you have.
All right. And then Shirley Mitchell asks, how do I delete cookies?
Deleting cookies, Shirley Lee, is going to be different in every browser. I know, which browser are you using?
Shirley, if you want to unmute. She's still on mute here.
Okay, I'm using Chrome.
Okay, so in Chrome, you're going to, if you go up to the 3 dots to the top right, you see those 3 dots, it's probably near your initial or initials or your picture.
Right.
And then you'll go down to settings. It's towards the bottom. And in there, you can actually go into, it's going to be your privacy and security.
Okay.
And the first option I'm seeing is clear browsing data. That's clear history, cookies, and the cache. So
okay.
in here, you have all of those things checked. It depends on what you want to get rid of. If you only want cookies, then uncheck the cookies. Now, what that does is if you're signed into sites and you're saying, keep me signed in, that's going to sign you out of those websites. And you're going to have to sign in the next time you go to that website. So just be cognizant of that. In addition to that, if you don't want your browsing history getting erased and cleared, uncheck that box and uncheck the cache images if you want to keep that as well.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So we are over the hour, so if we could quickly just get to those in the chat. So Dorothy, if you want to unmute.
Just want to ask if my iPhone 8 Plus, if the changes I'm seeing, are there indicators that it's time to buy a new one? What happens is that I have a lot of icons on the face of my phone. So as I press them, often they won't open or they start that little blinking, that dancing around. And then messages come up. I can't think what they are. Then another thing, problem I have is hard to connect on when I have Audible. And so as I'm driving, I used to could be with set and I could know what to hit in my car in order to read my book. Now I just get all kind of interferences as I pass. I don't know if it's the satellites or the changes. So I'm seeing changes in my phone besides what you just described about the battery. I got a little bit of that too. So are those indicators that it's time to replace the phone?
No, not from what you described to me. Like the first thing with the wiggling and the dancing with the apps.
Yeah.
That's just probably the way you're touching those apps. So I will be, because that seems, when they start dancing and wiggling, do you see like a little minus sign on the top left of them?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
So that's just going to be the level of touch you're giving to those apps. You want to go a little softer and touch them softer because when you get into that mode, that's like, do you want to move the app or delete the app? So that's not the phone saying that you need to upgrade.
Oh, okay.
Just go softer. When you're looking for that app, touch it right in the middle, very soft, like you're just touching somebody in the shoulder, like, hey, what's going on? Like, but don't poke them too hard,
Okay,
right?
yeah, I do sometimes.
Don't
Okay,
touch.
it's the way I'm touching. All right, okay.
Yes. And then the other part is like depending upon when you get on there, if you have Audible on, or get in the car before you take, just plug it in and then just tap on Audible very softly, tap on that book, ensure that it's connecting to the Bluetooth. Once it's connected, you should hear that out of the speaker.
And there are all these different options that come up there. That's not, and the Bluetooth, and then it's 6 or 8 things, and it's just a long time. I have to stop and readjust.
Yeah, touch that even softly too, because normally Audible is kind of like it's a player, right? So it's gonna play some type of audio, and that's just your audio book. That should normally recognize in your car. You should already be connected to your Bluetooth. And then once you tap on the Audible app, that should in turn, when you're right on the right source on your car, probably auxiliary, or if it's just kind of like just Bluetooth, that should coincide with what you just did on the phone, and you should hear that out of the speakers. But if you're seeing too many things pop up on your phone, again, that may be the touch, because
pop up on the dial of the car. They come on the screen of the car.
So if it's popping up on the screen in the car, without knowing the car that you have,
But that's it. I probably don't know how to, after 3 years, I'm probably not operating it all properly. I'll review.
Well, you can review that. Just look up, because sometimes you can even find the car manual online, and you can like just easily, as long as it's on Bluetooth in the car and your phone is on Bluetooth, that should start.
That should, yeah. Because it used to just automatically go, and sometimes it says nope, the Bluetooth isn't there, and I just don't know what's going on. I'll review. I won't take any more time. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Next time.
Thank you.
Julius, are you good on time just to answer the last 2 questions? I know Pat and Norma
Yes.
follow-up questions. Okay, Pat, go ahead. You can unmute.
Yes, it's just in terms of the Canon fraudsters, I printed out something from an Apple support site, and it says Mac OS includes built-in antivirus technology called XProtect for the signature-based detection and removal of malware. It uses Yara signatures, a tool used to conduct signature-based detection of malware, which Apple updates regularly.
Yeah, so what that is like if you download a bogus app, and this is kind of like what John was saying from the app developers. So they use this technology where it'll say, if it's a bogus Canon app, it's gonna let you know that it's a third-party app, right? But it's not like where, like, let's say for instance, you don't download an app. Like most malware does not come in the app form. It comes onto your computer, and your computer will start acting weird. So then the malware itself, like if you use like a malware scanner, it'll show you that it is living in a certain part of your computer, not as an app, but as like a file source, right? So what you just brought up, it's a little bit more intricate to explain, and I'll try to like say this very short and concise. But if you were to download a application onto your Mac, and then when you get it on there, it'll say, because it uses an authenticator, and it'll say, hey, this app right here, and even when I've done it with legitimate apps, it'll say, hey, this app was downloaded from the internet, and it'll literally ask you to validate its source and that you're okay with it. But if it finds that it's actually a app that's trying to act like Canon, it knows the Canon's real app. And that's why they usually recommend you download from the App Store, because that's already going through a process of authenticating and making sure that there's no malware in that app. But if you were to download it from the Canon store, a legitimate website, a legitimate app, it goes through the process and it looks at that app as it goes through the installation process to say, yep, that's good, that's good, that's good. Authenticate, we know that it's good, and then you get it and you can add it to your computer.
So I would have had protection if I purposely downloaded an app, but I didn't have any protection the other day because the fraudsters put an app onto my computer and I said, okay.
Yes, so when they're inside of your computer and then they, like, if I were to come over there and physically download an app and put it from a thumb drive or download it from the computer, and I know it's a bogus app, I can still get Apple to get the app on your computer. They're not going to stop me. Just like any type of malware, they're not going to stop me. And there's no kind of like running log of like, hey, we just found malware on your computer. I've seen so many computers on the Mac where they have malware on there and they're like, why is my computer acting this way? And I'm like, well, what's this app? Never seen it in my life. I'm like, yeah, that's malware, because I just ran Malwarebytes and it found adware, malware, and this virus. And a lot of the times when I find those things on the Mac computer, they don't even affect the Mac computer because it was meant for a PC, but it still found it on there. I had one on my computer in just an email, but my Mac computer never told me that, right? It never told me that I had this bogus file in my email. But when I downloaded the Avast Business virus and malware protection, it scanned my whole computer. And what it found was in one of my emails, even though I didn't install it, it said, we see malware on your computer. And my wife saw it and she laughed. She's like, you got malware on your computer? I was like, not me. Like, this is in my email and it's okay being in my email. But when I looked at it, I was like, this is so cool, because it was able to detect that there was a bogus file, not even installed, but it lived somewhere as a download, a potential download on my computer.
Yeah,
So
I ran
malware is
I
gonna
ran a
always
diagnostic
look at
test,
your whole thing.
and it said
Yes.
nothing was discovered, so that was good. But I'll look for
Yep.
that app that that you mentioned that the guys used the other day, and I will delete it immediately. Now I
Yes,
understand. much
definitely. Okay,
Thank you, Julius.
you're welcome.
Okay, and then quickly we'll go to Norma and then Allie, and then we'll wrap it up. Norma, oh, there you go.
Hi, my question is in reference to an HP printer that I had. I thought it was gone out on me, but maybe it hasn't. It's a PhotoSmart Premium All-in-One, a C310 series. Now, I had to change the ink cartridges one time, and when I changed the ink cartridges, it went to initializing, and it started initializing. Well, I unplugged it for a few minutes and I plugged it back in and tried to turn it on. It came on, but then it didn't stay on. It started initializing again, and it's been initializing, and it won't allow me to turn the printer on using the button. So what does that mean?
It could be stuck in that mode if you unplug it, and it's like, I've had a printer on my personal printer that I didn't use that often. And sometimes when I would use it, it would go through a process for like 20, 30 minutes and not initializing, but something equivalent to it. And I just had it to let it do its thing. If you unplug that printer for about 30 seconds, I would say even a minute, to kind of do a hard reset, plug it back in, and then allow it to do that initializing. And if it goes for more than 30 minutes and it's just stuck in that mode, it could just be the printer, because there's nothing that, that's equivalent to a hard reset. You can always, if you purchased the printer recently, you can always call the manufacturer and see if they have any other tips or tricks. But typically with all the printers that I've set up, if it's ever stuck in a mode and it's not getting out of that mode, and we can't, even, do any type of CPR on it, if you will, to breathe life into it, I just tell people to get a new printer. Or if it's still under warranty, then I just say, hey, just have them send you a new printer. You could just have had a limit.
Well, I'll just donate this one because I went on the web and bought me a new printer, and it was initializing for a whole day or a couple of days. It just kept on going on
Yeah.
and on. So
Yeah, that's a problem with the printer. It could be the software inside of it. Sometimes they go bad.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Last question, Julius. I appreciate you going over time. Allie, if we can just make this quick, because I know it's 5:40.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashley and Paige and Julius and everyone for such great questions. I really appreciate it. And we always love when Julius comes, so thank you again.
Yes.
Yeah, Julius, here's my question. As someone who uses a lot of data and a lot of memory on my devices, especially my cell phone, everything is full and I have 528 gigs of RAM. It's full and new phones don't have that capacity. And so my phone is expandable to 1 terabyte with the SD card. However, it gives the option to like format the disk for the SD card. I'm not sure what to do. I've been to the my cell phone service provider and they don't seem to know what to do. And I'm not sure if I need to have a tech guy on retainer because I just need a lot of support with utilizing data and where do I store things? Do I have a external hard drive? I'm not sure what to do. I keep finding myself boxed in a corner and I'm not sure how to move comfortably and I can't take pictures. I can't really use my texting. There's a lot of stuff I can't do anymore and I'm always in this position.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best bet would be if you have somebody on site to kind of help you, one, format that and then figure out, you know, how to push that data in certain places that it needs to be pushed. Because if you're using that much space, definitely having a few different SD cards, there are many SD card slots, SD cards, and then getting them formatted properly. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, it's not a hard thing, but it's not an easy thing for someone that doesn't do it all the time. I would definitely recommend someone if you're constantly going through those issues. That way you have I wouldn't even say retainer, just get them out there when you need help. You don't have to keep them on retainer.
But can I do it remotely and even maybe call you and maybe you do work on an hourly rate? I don't know how this works to have like a tech guy at my disposal.
I wouldn't be that guy because I'm literally, even our people with something like that, there's only certain jobs that we would take remotely. If we can't log into it and see it, like there, you have to physically put in an SD card. You may be comfortable with that, but that's not something like we would do like remotely. It would be something like fixing emails, changing passwords, things of that nature. But something like that we have done in person, but not remotely.
And so I would tell someone what in my area, hey, I need a tech guy or a tech gal, maybe hire someone to hang out for a couple of hours and just get my questions together every time they come.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that it depends on like what type of tech. I mean, you could reach out and, kind of Google it and see, because I know Best Buy, you can obviously sign up for their program and then go there and just, you'll have them, they'll charge you a fee to do whatever. I don't know how they charge, or you can hire like a private company. And I would recommend that just having a list, that's what we usually recommend here. Having a list of things you need help with, and then we just hit that list, and help you solve those things as we go. But I don't think you need to have somebody on a monthly or weekly retainer.
Okay, because I didn't want to overtax family members, younger family members, or just go without or hang out at the library or my local group would be the one hogging up the time with my questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Get someone to help you out that has the expertise with that stuff. And I think you'll be, fine. But yeah, just don't let anybody talk you into doing a monthly retainer. Like, I don't think you need that. Unless you're going to be reaching out to them that much, then take advantage of it. Sure.
I thought it might be more cost effective to do that. I don't know, but we'll see. But thank you. I appreciate you all allowing me the time to ask the question. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Julius.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
All